And then when he was driving, they were in position. I know Kemba took some charges. I know that, like you said, Smart had. I think I said earlier this week, Smart took the last game off, so that he could be fully ready for the Booker experience. They answered the bell. So
Smart was good. Kemba was feisty. It was, it was all around good.
I keep saying this about Kemba. I know we're going to talk about him, but his defense still to me underrated. I know the analytics don't look great there, and their on-off numbers and all that stuff with him out there isn't amazing, but he positionally is so sound.
He's in the right spot. He's like one of those cornerbacks that is stride for stride with the receiver, but never makes a play on the ball.
He's one of the top charge takers every year, too.
It's like Malcolm Butler was like that in his last year. Like he's always there, but and he is. Kemba positionally is right where he needs to be, and he gets the charges. But again, size is just an issue sometimes, so he can be exploited. But beyond that, like he buys in, he goes for it. He's running around, he's doing his best. He draws, it feels like 2 charges every single game. Like, based on his physical limitations, I don't know that you can ask much more from him defensively. It just is what he is. He's a smallish point guard. He's gonna run into mismatch problems. There's nothing he can do about it. But you can't dog his effort. But I mean, again, let's talk about the game. I mean, turn black for real. Is there a better game this year just in terms of how he's looked than tonight? And again, I know the recency bias, we just saw it, but we keep talking about like him getting to the rim. I mean, how many times did he not just get there clean tonight? I mean, him taking it to the hole was, I mean, he did it a ton. And then, he's hitting it obviously helps when he's hitting his threes and the little pull-ups coming off the screens but I mean, that's what I'm most impressed with is the early season Kemba. He was struggling. He could not get any points around the basket. Late stage Kemba, the last few games that we've seen him, he's getting to the rim.
He's doing a better job with that, John. But here's the thing, and Bobby, you touched on it, and we just kind of glossed over. But when was the last time we saw Kemba play? He had a huge ass time off rest.
He's looked so good with that rest this year, hasn't he?
Yes, and it's amazing how good he is when it's clear his body is feeling good. But in a playoff series where you're playing every 2 to 3 days, can he deliver that same type of consistency? Doesn't have to play this great every night, but can he play at a level that's close to what we've come to expect when we're talking about good playing Kemba? That's what I need to see more of. This is not a shock to anyone that he played well, because we've seen him do it before, but can he do it in close proximity of the games? Not necessarily back-to-backs, but can he have like 3 games in a 7-day period where he's good in all 3? Can he do those type of things? That, to me, is when I'm going to feel really comfortable about Kemba being that guy that they can lean on once we get to the playoffs.
I got booted.
Bobby, this is you.
Sherrod's talk, so.
I've just been blown away by him all month, how he's started to fit within the flow of everything. And tonight was a little different. He did have to step up into that front line role, and he's able to sense what is needed on any given night, which is what continues to impress me. And that comfort level, the burst, that stutter step into the lane. I think he hit every shot he took in the paint tonight. Through a center, getting to like that last level of the defense there. That wasn't even on his radar early in this season. I remember in that opening game he had against the Knicks, there was one play where he burst by a center playing up too high, but when he had to go into traffic down there, he'd get swallowed up again and again. And now the fact that he's able to use his body, get some contact in there, draw a little more free throws. I mean, there's been some nights during this month where he's looked every bit as good as he did last year. And on this night in particular, I think I looked back like 2 or 3 nights last year where he had this level of efficiency, this level of scoring, certainly. It was like a 39 against the Nets and a 44 against the Pacers. So it didn't end up being that high scoring-wise, but this efficiency is what's been missing from him. And he's starting to even gain that back. The fact that he's gotten to a higher level in the passing game is fantastic. Again, I said it on Saturday. He looks every bit as good as he did last year at this point through this month. And it's just a huge sign for this team going into the postseason that to have that semblance of a big 3 there.
Agreed. And I wonder how – so Jaylen Brown obviously didn't play tonight. I wonder how that changes how Kemba approaches the game. Maybe he thinks less about, having to get other guys involved. Maybe he's not worried about, taking a shot that maybe, Jaylen would typically be open for or be
Good
involved in.
point.
So, I mean, I do wonder if that has anything to do with it. I'm not saying that Jaylen Brown makes Kemba Walker worse. I wouldn't say that. I'm just saying that, when somebody's missing, whether it's Brown, Tatum, Fournier, obviously, Kemba Walker is able to sort of fill that role. He's able to fill the gaps and step into a bigger offensive role. And I think he's had it in him all season. It's just a matter of him not having, when you have Tatum and Brown out there at the same time, it's just automatic that you're not going to have the ball in your hands as much. You're not going to be taking as much shots. And maybe you're going to be overthinking a bit, I need to get these guys the balls. That's what everyone's kind of expecting me to do. And now he can sort of just play his game a little bit more in the role that he's used to playing when he doesn't have all that other, I guess, talent out there. So it'll be interesting to see how he adjusts, if and when the Celtics actually do end up a fully healthy team, if they can get these guys back by the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have John. John, what do you think of Kemba's performance, man?
Oh, did I not say I liked it?
I think you said you liked it, but did you expect it?
Yeah,
Jimmy's such a shit starter, man. I swear.
He's trying. Jimmy can't find the opening. He doesn't know how to get through.
This is the thing.
He's a little fella and he's trying to find a crack. He's trying to find a seam and he can't find it.
I'm just waiting for that cam, man. I did my apology cam months ago. I think, rightfully so.
You haven't had to regret it at all.
Perfect time. And I just didn't know if you were ready for it, but you're not. It's all good. You'll get there at some point. You'll get there.
John can just keep kicking it back because there's 2 more years on that contract.
He was moving the goalposts. He's just gonna keep moving the goalposts. It's.
If they reach 2023 and he's still playing well, John's gonna have to do like an hour-long apology cam. It's gonna have to be magnified.
It would be a special. We'll do a CLNS special edition. Apology cam.
Holy crap! Those 3 years went better than expected.
So you guys believe concern? So you think the rational feeling to have entering the season with Kemba Walker was optimism? That's what you guys think?
I apologize.
The concern was way too high. People want to get rid of him at all costs.
So again, Danny Ainge said, I don't know. We'll wait and see what the first 2 months say. Kemba Walker said, I have no idea what this treatment will do. We'll have to see. Kemba Walker, after his first month of struggle, says, I kept waking up afraid I was going to feel pain. So these guys being supremely concerned about Kemba were crazy, right? They were bananas to think that this might flare up again. This recurring knee problem that he had and a Hail Mary experimental treatment. They were nuts. Danny and Brad and Kemba, those guys were crazy, right?
It's not. Don't put this on them. This is not about them. Listen, you were right to have your doubts, but at the end of the day, maybe you were wrong to have. Maybe
I felt about Kemba's knee the same way Kemba felt about his knee, and I'm crazy, right?
No, I think you probably felt worse than how they felt. I think that's what I think. I think
we're gonna have to do we're gonna have to dig deep and find out what the take was for real.
We have to dig. I have to do some. I'm gonna go pouring through the archives and find the exact. I remember the video that we did, and it was. I listen. I was just as guilty. I was very nervous, and I think rightfully so. I was.
We have the quote.
At the end of the day, I was kind of wrong. At the end of the day,
we have the quote. It'd be better if he tore his ACL. That was the quote.
That was one of the quotes. Yeah, that was an infamous quote. That was an infamous quote that, that's not going to go away. Yeah, Sherrod.
That's a painful receipt. That's a painful receipt you just pulled up there.
That was a hot take by John. He said it would have been better if he tore his ACL because you can fully recover from that and go on to have a career in the NBA. When it's a degenerative knee issue, that's something that doesn't go away and just gets worse and worse and worse.
I get what John was saying in that sense, but I just never, and I said this when we were talking about Holiday and all this stuff over the offseason, his deferential role in helping Tatum and Brown get where they are and his ability to fit in and not have to take that lead role in it all and still be effective in that sense was so important. And if they could get him back to any percentage of what he was early last year, if they had confidence in that procedure working, as they probably had to have some level of confidence in that, it was worth seeing what they had in him, because they were never going to get anything. We can imagine trades all day long, but if there was any medical concern about him, they were never going to get anything that was worth doing a trade. So again, I don't know if it's...
That's the other thing. Another 29 teams also were super concerned about Kemba's knee.
Yeah, and I never liked the idea of them shopping him and trying to get rid of him at all costs.
But the reason why folks were so concerned was because Kemba having any type of issues that sideline him was completely foreign to his time in the NBA. I mean, you go back and you start looking at his career in Charlotte. I mean, he was the ultimate warrior, playing through a lot of different bumps and bruises, and he comes to Boston and then
he would never rest.
Well, right. And it just felt that, the issues that he's dealing with were just Father Time's way of saying, I couldn't catch you in Charlotte, but damn, we got to slow you down a little bit here in Boston. And I give Kemba a lot of credit, man. He's starting to figure out ways, and we've talked about this the last few games, of impacting other than being the scorer. And to me, that's when you realize that physically, you can't do all that you're accustomed to doing night in, night out. You have to find other ways to impact the game, and Kemba is doing a better job of that. But within that vein, he's going to have nights like this where he's going to be vintage Kemba, guy that's knocking down shots left and right, getting to the cup, finishing at the rim, doing all those things that have made him a multi-time All-Star. But I'm not by any means banking on the Kemba we saw tonight, seeing that night in and night out. I think we'll see that if we can get that Kemba like once every week or two, I'm good. It's those other nights where I need him to be close to being the Kemba that we saw last year, close to the Kemba that I think can be a great number 3 guy with Jaylen and Jayson.
Yeah, right. Well, that's going to be the tricky thing. How does that happen when they're all out there?
But that's the thing is, like as Sherrod pointed out, that's the number one thing that's changed over the last little bit, okay? Because we saw Kemba feeling it out the first month, not sure what he was doing, kind of in his own head. Then kind of the uptick in the second month. Third, he's still kind of figuring out. But you see these last couple of weeks that I get what I'm supposed to do now. It almost took 3 months of and Jimmy said it earlier, the giving the game what it needs. You have the games where he'll shoot 8 field. We had 2 games where we're like, Kemba didn't shoot at all. Are we worried physically he can't get where he needs to go to get his shot off? Or was that what the game needed? We weren't sure. We're just wondering, that was odd. They were single-digit field goal attempt games. And then you have other games where he shot 20 field goal attempts recently and another 17 tonight, where it was, this is what the game needed. So that's the key to Kemba is I'm sliding in as the number 3 guy on this team. So I got to figure out each day, I have to think more than the other guys. They get to play. I have to figure out in the moment what the game needs. And him being able to do that more frequently is a big freaking deal, So you have those 7 assists, was it 6 games straight with 6 assists plus, games where he's getting 8, he's the second leading rebounder on the team, he's doing a lot. And it seems like every game where he's had a good game, we've talked about this is exactly what the game needed from Kemba, and it's exactly what it got. So that's as big a difference as anything.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that, and myself included, I wasn't sure if we were going to get that from Kemba Walker because of all the things we were hearing in the offseason and because of what Danny Ainge was saying.
And because we're worried about the fit with those guys.
What Kemba Walker was saying and the fit and how we thought, and I thought he was going to probably miss time until literally I thought he would miss all of March. I was like, oh, this guy's not going to be back until, mid to late March at the best. And I was wrong about so many of those things. I wasn't crazy, I don't think, for thinking those things. But at the end of the day, I was wrong. I don't think you were crazy for thinking those things. But I think some of the things you said and thought were wrong.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
There was a real concern that we might have seen the last of him playing well. And that certainly was not true. And I still think there's plenty left after this for him.
And you're not going to get 32 a game. But you also don't need – you hope that you don't need 32 a game from Kemba Walker. That's why he's considered the 3rd guy on this team.
Yeah, at a certain point, too, that was health or not, that was going to have to be the adjustment he was going to have to make anyway, because even if Kemba stayed healthy through the first year of his contract into the second year, Jaylen was going to reach a point somewhere along that line where he passed Kemba. regardless of what Kemba was doing, just because of his size and abilities on the wing there, shooting, all that stuff. I can't wait. We're going to, I think probably tomorrow we'll pull up.
By the way, I'm putting up all these comments against me just so everybody knows.
What we actually need, I know Nick was watching, is we need Nick and an intern or somebody to just go through and just start.
All that crazy Kemba shit.
Clip through them. Yeah, just clip through them. You want to do, just clip, when we need to post that as the shorts. Nick loves the shorts, the YouTube shorts. We can do
There's
a good
not a
minute.
First of all, I'm going to take this comment here, Tyler, the host. There's not a freaking single person out there who at the beginning of the year and when they saw Kemba Walker playing like dog shit wasn't every bit as scared as I was times a million. Get him out. He's a bum. The whole freaking
Trade Kemba.
Trade Kemba now. You are all frauds. You're all frauds. Right. Every freaking one of you, okay? Front runners. I don't want to hear it.
The chat is most guilty of anyone.
The correct emotion, the correct vibe was deep concern for a little guy who was 32 years old who had his knee flare up 3 times in 16 months. Really, really worrisome. Thank goodness he's playing well. But everybody, give me a freaking break with the apology stuff. You guys ran him out of town 15 times over already. Frauds. All of you. Frauds.
Not me.
Okay?
So Jimmy's done one. I've probably done 1 or 2. Has Joe Sway done? I don't think Joe Sway's done one. So
we'll get him one
Joe
of these
Sway and
days.
John, we're waiting.
There was a stretch, and we'll transition here, I think. Well, there was a stretch for a second where I thought we were going to get a double apology cam, Kemba and Neesmith. The way Neesmith actually showed up a little bit.
You're way off on the Neesmith stuff. I was driving the Neesmith bandwagon for months here.
You were, and then you drove it off a cliff.
I didn't drive it off the cliff. Neesmith drove it off the cliff. Okay, one tumble to the ground at a time, you know?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Neesmith, we got a little peek at Neesmith, drained a couple threes tonight coming off of some screens and such, and he's got a pulse. Listen, Neesmith is not, I will say this, Neesmith will not be in the playoff rotation. He won't be seen really much the rest of the year, but he does have a pulse.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, Smoking Mac.
Yeah, that's so funny. That's also not what I said, but that's fine.
Yeah, see how it gets twisted?
Okay, so everybody's a Boston fan, right? Everybody follows sports. You've seen what's happened to Dustin Pedroia and Julian Edelman, right? When they have degenerative knee conditions. It's bad. That's a concern.
They were a little older, though, weren't they?
Not by much, man. I mean, Pedroia was, but I mean, when that stuff started, that was it. You know?
Yeah, but Pedroia's a dirt dog, dude.
I know. Yeah. It didn't go well.
Loves that shit.
That arthritic, degenerative, bone-on-bone knee stuff didn't go well.
I do have one more thing here.
It rarely does.
It rarely does.
I got a little
you're
of
right.
that
It's
going
the
on,
beginning
actually.
of the end. Oh, you do?
Yeah, I can feel it in my knee.
Oh, no. We might be
I might have
sending
to
you to
call
Marigold.
Kemba's guy.